tuning around with the Tecsun S-2200x, which is already out of stock. So I know how many they did and how many they sold, but it's out of stock already. BBC from Oman, which is broadcasting totally on the other side from me, to Asia, Southeast Asia. So this is like transmitting the opposite direction, and we still have a little signal here. 12095 BBC English. Of course, Madagascar at 0400 is great. You know, I think a lot of people are into having this radio. I get tons of people saying $372 is so expensive. You know, we would pay $300 for radios in the 80s that weren't even capable of doing a half of what this does. It's all a question of perspective and a question of how much you want to pay for a big radio. There's no big radios out there. This is a big radio, and yeah, it's expensive. And yep, there are radios that are less expensive that do as good and as well at receiving than this does. So it's absolutely something to think about, for sure. So it's kind of interesting. This is Brazilian station 11815, which has been coming in pretty well in the last month. 11815, it's almost 02 UTC. Brazil, Radio Nacional Amazonas. Some kind of over the horizon radar. Well, it's kind of interesting to tune around and, you know. So that's WWV. And I could hear just below, I put lower sideband. Lower sideband. This is RWM Moscow time signal. Radio Romania 9740. This is also Brazil, which is Radio Doce Amor, something like that.
Today we start or Sadiq Abdullah Khan. In particular, and the electromagnetic spectrum, the medium of radio. And
WRMI 9395.
Into the air and hear a signal from the other side of the planet is a fascinating thing. So, this is our pitch to you, WRMI listeners. We want to hear about your experiences with shortwave. For this series, we are mostly interested in shortwave broadcasting, not ham radio or other shortwave services, but clearly you are listening to a shortwave broadcast right now on WRMI. So if you're open to sharing with us, we'd love to hear from you. And we'd really love if you can record us a couple-minute voice memo on your phone and email it to us at onthemedia@wnyc.org. and we might use your voice memo in the series.
Okay, so this is like more specific on what we want to hear from you. Very necessary. We need to hear what your name is and where you're tuning in from. What are you listening on? Did you make something? Did you buy something? Are you online? That's kind of important. So I want to know about the reach of this offer. Why did you start listening to shortwave? What keeps you listening? Do you like what you hear on shortwave radio? Was there a golden age of shortwave for you? Maybe it's now. Are there things you miss? Are there shows that used to be on?
Are there stations that used to be on that you miss too? We know the landscape has changed a lot over the last several decades, so we want to hear about your experience with that. And we're also curious, how has listening to shortwave radio shaped your worldview? What do you wish people knew about shortwave radio? And I would also love to hear, what do you think of this program that you're about to hear right now on the media?
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to me because I know what the FM and AM people say about the station. We chat to those people and we have arbitrary numbers for that and we track that closely, but this is the Wild West for us. We've never been on shortwave. This is really, for me personally, having spent 20 plus years in radio, to hit some new airwaves, what a thrill! It's like going to the moon.
Yes, it's so exciting. And, you do go up into the sky to get to wherever you are being heard.
I honestly.
Me too. I want to get shot up into the sky like a radio wave.
What are we doing here? So, that's over and out from Katie and I for now. We'll be back at different points in the show just to remind you. But in the meantime, enjoy on the media.
From WNYC in New York, this is On the Media. Michael Derringer's out this week. I'm Brooke Gladstone. I've seen almost all the conventions since 1972, but I've never seen anything like this week's DNC. Already parsed endlessly for its breadth, its unity, and its joyful noise.